I just watched Sinners, and Ryan Coogler actually healed me. This has to be the power of cinema. This is Coogler's latest in a long line of, in my personal opinion, all hits. This cast is stacked, the trailers are beautiful, and man, do I just love vampire movies. I tried to stay away from a lot of the trailers, but I succumbed, whatever. I caved in, man. The hype, the buzz, it all got to me. Every trailer has been a banger, and more than that, just the promotional run itself has been so based in the love of filmmaking, inspirations, and just love of the game. Coogler sits on this throne of a newer generation of filmmakers, but unlike others, it feels like he got into and out of the big studio pipeline in the perfect timing. He's obviously going to go back to do Black Panther 3 at some point, and I think Wakanda Forever is easily the weakest of his work. But Sinners proves that the love for filmmaking always wins, and Ryan Coogler is the director that I think deserves a blank check for whatever the fuck he wants. One of the biggest reasons I was excited for Sinners is it's the first film to use true IMAX 70mm since Oppenheimer, and I truly think IMAX is the only way to see this film. But I will say, I believe the film was mastered digitally, so I don't think there's a big resolution difference. But the most masterful of its impacts come in the aspect ratios, especially in the latter half of this film. This feels like someone that has been seasoned with the gifts of what IMAX can deliver to audiences all around the world. And I didn't even get to see it in true IMAX 70mm. Before I get into more of the technical elements, which I have a lot to say about, I do want to start off with the story and just general thematic balance that this movie is able to conquer, because Ryan Coogler is one of those few directors that, in my opinion, is able to tell a very deep and personal and dark story without becoming overly preachy about it, and this film does exactly that. There's just no way to explain how well these characters are built out in the first half. All I'll say is there's a moment in the third act, and this is on a character level, not anything visually, technically, story-wise, just a moment between these two twins that made me refuse to believe they're played by the same person, because you see two completely different characters within themselves. I don't know where to talk about this compliment, so I'm going to throw it in right here in the story section. There is a moment in dead center, middle of this film, that genuinely gave me full body chills. It's like kind of a musical moment. It is a technical beast. Probably the best use of IMAX that I've seen in my life, other than the Can You Hear the Music? But I mean, I think it's a very, very close second. Genuinely full body chills, changed my life. I want to go rewatch this movie just for that moment. Man, it made me believe in movies again. I want to get to the visual stuff here. There's so much to chew on, and Ryan Coogler obviously released that 10-minute video with Kodak Film talking about every possible way to watch this film. But I'm going to sum it up very quickly so I can talk about the point I want to. So they decided to shoot this film in probably the widest format possible in Ultra Panavision 70, which I think works well in the first half of this film, but not necessarily in conjunction with the IMAX 70, which is intercut in the first half, not necessarily transitioned through. And when I say IMAX 70, I don't mean the 143. Like, I'm not talking about true IMAX, because there's fucking like 10 theaters in the whole world that played in that format. I'm talking about 190, like the most common IMAX at your local AMC that probably has it. I think the cuts are just far too jarring. And there are two moments that I vividly remember the aspect ratio blending. I think I missed another one because it happened so quickly. But two moments where they expand from 276, which is the Panavision wide, to the 190, which is the basic IMAX, and that shit genuinely changed my life. Where the aspect ratio jumping didn't really work for me was in the first half of this film specifically, because I think there's a lot of great character writing and a lot of great character moments, but it's not in parallel with the stakes or the score or anything with emphasis. I mean, you look at the first big IMAX ratio switch in Oppenheimer. I mean, obviously the opening itself, whenever you see Oppenheimer seeing all these visions, that's all in IMAX. And then it cuts to 276 when he's talking to the professor. But then it cuts back to 190, the biggest IMAX you can get for Can You Hear the Music, which is a phenomenal sequence. And there, that really executes some big level of emotion. But this film, in my opinion, uses IMAX in the first half so lightly, like it just throws it in there. It doesn't really work. To me, and this is just me personally, this felt less emphatic because the story wasn't built to stand on that huge scale of IMAX 70, at least in the first half. The second half, I have literally zero complaints about this movie. But the final thing about the visuals, I mean, I can't not be happy about how this movie is executed. Even though I have that small little gripe, I have to make this comparison because this was obviously the last film made on that format. But putting Sinners and Oppenheimer side by side, the true IMAX lineup has been Nolan, Coogler, Nolan. And the second half of Sinners moves at such a brilliant pace. I can't imagine not have been I can't imagine not have been seeing this in IMAX. I can't imagine watching this in any other format. IMAX is the way to go. Getting into the acting, I think this is top heavy on the acting side. I mean, I think Michael B. Jordan is giving us some phenomenal shit in the back half, but the first half of this movie, it's unmatched. G. Leroy Lindo, Wumi Makasu, Lee Jun Lee, and Jamie Lawson, they're all great. My bad if I pronounce any of those names wrong. But Haley Steinfeld plays a side of her I've never really seen before, and Michael B. Jordan gives close to a career performance as you can get. Like, I mean, there's two of them here. But as much as I can talk about all of these actors that we've seen many times on the big screen before, Miles Keaton, he is fucking insane. I have never seen a debut performance at this level in my life. This guy gave me full body chills at least 17 times just from his voice alone. And this is his first acting role ever. Like, he's 20. He's the same age as me and he's doing this shit. This is crazy. Mad talent on display here. Like, I couldn't imagine another person. I couldn't imagine another voice. He has so much aura. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm getting like war flashbacks to 2 hours ago when I saw this movie. There is two moments, one specifically, as I mentioned, like dead in the center of this film, where his voice, if not for his voice, the entire sequence would have fallen apart. The way this guy's able to transverse time, like this film is talking about generations of music, how souls are tied together, generations of trauma. This man is at the center of it all. I mean, Coogler directs the shit out of this movie. Michael B. Jordan is obviously our lead here. He's playing two fucking people. Haley Steinfeld is great. Every other side performance that I mentioned is awesome. But in the heat of the moment, like Game 7.
Fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth, you better hit it. I want
Miles Keaton. I genuinely need to see so much more of him. And this movie, he carried the highest of moments on his back. And I have nothing but respect for this dude. At the end of the day, Sinners works in almost every single way. I'd say this is a near perfect movie. Again, some flaws in the first half, but the second half is, in my opinion, the closest to a perfect film you're getting. Overall, I'm going to give Sinners a 9 out of 10. If you've seen or want to check out Sinners, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.